Welcome, truth seekers, to a very special edition of Truth Be Told Paranormal. I'm your host, Tony Sweet, and tonight it's Friday the 13th. A date shrouded in superstition, drenched in mystery, and crawling with stories that make even the most rational among us shiver. Tonight we're diving deep into the dark origins, spine-tingling lure, and real-life paranormal events that are forever linked to this infamous date. Now, we've all heard the stories. For centuries, Friday the 13th has been feared by many as a day when bad luck reigns supreme. Some people refuse to leave their homes, while others blame it for everything from broken mirrors to flat tires. But is it all just a coincidence, or could there be something more sinister at play? Let's start with the origins of Friday the 13th. Why has this date been linked with such dark energy? The number 13th has long been considered unlucky. In numerology, 12 is seen as a symbol of completeness, 12 months in a year, 12 zodiac signs, 12 apostles, and then comes 13, a number that disrupts the harmony. Did you know that this fear of 13 is triskaidekaphobia? It's been around for centuries. The ancient Babylonians omitted the number 13 from their codes of law. Norse mythology even ties the number 13 to treachery. It's said that 12 gods were dining in Valhalla when Loki, the trickster god, crashed the party, bringing chaos and death in his wake. Now let's move on to why Fridays have their own share of bad luck. Some say it's because it goes all the way back to the crucifixion of Christ, believed to have taken place on a Friday, combined with 13, and well, it's no wonder people get nervous. But tonight, we're not just here to talk about old myths. Oh no, we're here to explore real life paranormal events that have taken place on Friday the 13th. And I'm warning you, these stories may just keep you up tonight. Let's take a journey back to 1976 in Long Island, New York. It was a quiet evening, just another Friday the 13th, when strange things began to happen at 112 Ocean Avenue. That's right, the Amityville Horror House. That night, witnesses reported lights flickering in the house. Despite it being vacant, neighbors claimed to have seen shadowy figures moving through the windows. And when a group of curious locals dared to step onto the property, they were met with overwhelming sense of dread, as if the house itself was alive, watching them and waiting for them. And what's even creepier, when the police arrived to investigate, their radios malfunctioned. No explanation, no reason, just an eerie chapter in the already terrifying history of Amityville House. Let's move on to 1993. In the English countryside, a group of paranormal investigators have set up camp in an abandoned church. This wasn't just a church. Legend had it that the place was cursed, especially on Friday the 13th. At nightfall, they began hearing faint chanting, but there was no one else around. The temperature suddenly dropped, their breath visible in the air, and then the most chilling part of the night, and one of the investigators was violently thrown against the wall by an unseen force. Okay, they tried to leave, but their equipment malfunctioned, the door jammed, and the chanting grew louder. Only after the clock struck midnight did the force release them, and then never returned. Stories like these have persisted for centuries. From cursed objects to haunted houses, Friday the 13th seems to be a magnet for these unexplained happenings. But not all these stories are about places. Some are about people. And in this next story, well, let's just say it's one of the strangest. Picture it. Friday the 13th, 1927. A man named James Thurber from Ohio fell ill. It started with a high fever, and it started in a feeling that something was watching him. That night, he claimed to have seen a shadowy figure standing at the foot of his bed, whispering to him in a language he couldn't understand. By morning, James had disappeared. His bed, his clothes, everything left untouched. He was found a week later, miles away, wandering in the woods in a daze. When asked what happened, he couldn't remember a thing, except the voice. The voice that whispered his name. To this day, no one knows how he got there, or what truly happened on this eerie Friday the 13th. So Friday the 13th, tied to such dark entities, it is a power of belief. Is it the power of belief, or is there something else lurking in the shadows, waiting for its moment to strike? We may never know for sure, but one thing's certain, on the night like tonight, anything is possible. Before we wrap this episode up tonight, remember this. Some may dismiss Friday the 13th as just another superstition, but those of us who've witnessed the strange, the unexplained, well, we know better. So, I ask you, truth seekers, what will you do the next Friday the 13th comes around? Will you laugh it off, or will you feel that cold chill run down your spine, as if someone or something is watching you? Well, I want to thank you for joining us today on Truth Be Told Paranormal. I'm your host, Tony Sweet, reminding you the truth is out there, and sometimes it's darker than you think. Until next time, stay safe and keep searching for the truth.